Hello, welcome back to this course showing you techniques to embellish and decorate fabrics. And in today's second session, we're going to be looking at hand painting techniques. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples I've created earlier of some hand painting on fabric. These were done freehand, but I'm also going to show you some other techniques as well. So this is lightly drawn with pencil onto the fabric first, and then just painted with acrylic paints mixed with the printing medium straight onto the fabric. Okay, so that one. And I've got some other examples here. This one is actually based on an echinacea type flower, hand painted on obviously iron to fix, and then I've actually stitched on top of it. Hopefully you can see if I hold this up to the camera. Hopefully you can see I've free machined on here, and I've made the machining stitch deliberately a bit sort of scribbly and loose to give it a nice feel, and outlined it in black, which is always nice. It sort of gives it a nice bold feel. I've got another one example here where I've actually hand painted the background first, and then just painted some sort of stylized flowers in a more of a sort of pattern design really here, and then stitched afterwards with machine and hand stitch. So I'm just going to show you here, hopefully you can see a bit better. So on this area I've actually emphasized the shapes here with some more machining, and here I've actually done some sort of scrolly free machining around, and then I've just gone on and done some hand stitch over the top in contrasting colours to sort of embellish and play around. I quite enjoyed doing that. It was quite fun actually. It's a bit more funky. I like doing that one. I've got one more example here of painting just using my brush like this, and actually again this one's based loosely on sort of pansy type flowers. On this one I've actually let the paint mix quite a lot actually on the fabric as I was painting, and I've actually scratched in while the paint was wet. I've actually used the wooden end of my paintbrush and sort of scratched through the paint a little bit, which I quite like doing as well. I haven't obviously done any stitching on this one yet, but that's to show you that example. Now if you don't feel you can just do freehand painting, there are some other ways you could try. I'm just going to show you those now. So one technique you can try is tracing, which works quite well if you've got something you're looking at that you'd like to use, or you can do some designs on paper and trace it and apply it onto your fabric if you want to. I'm just going to show you first of all what I'm basing my designs on. I find looking at fabric design is really useful, and I've got an apron here that I'm just going to show you my apron fabric, which I think is just beautiful, and that's got some lovely ideas for inspiration on there. So I'm sort of taking some inspiration from this to play around with this little piece I'm showing you now. So I say you can try tracing, so you can use some tracing paper, and I'm just going to show you that now. And you can just, I'm going to place another one about here and just show you that. So it will come up quite lightly, but it still gives you an idea, and you can always drill over it a little bit darker again if you need to. Sorry, my hair's in the way, isn't it? Oops, just missed that one. I'm just going to show you. It does come out very lightly, but it's enough as an impression to be able to go over that, and you can then just go over it so that you can see it a bit better. Okay, so I'm just going to finish drawing this and get this painted with a basic colour. Then I'm going to show you another technique. Okay, so I'm just finishing painting this one off here, and then I'm going to show you blending the colours together a little bit. Just finish painting this little bit here. forgot to tell you the colours I was using. Actually, I'm using, I'll show you my palette. I'm using some cadmium yellow today, cadmium orange, some magenta and some dark deep turquoise. Now I painted both of these in now, as you can see, and they're actually painted in just one colour without any blending of colours actually on the fabric at all. And I just thought I'd show you. It's quite nice to get a slightly more painterly effect if they're going to be hand painted, I think. So I've just got a selection of smallish brushes that I use as well. You don't want anything too large unless you're doing a great big piece, obviously. So I'm just going to blend some orange in with this, some cadmium orange and cadmium yellow together, actually on the flower. And just to show you that if you want to, you can get quite a nice sort of painterly effect if you want to. So I'm just going to put some of this colour on, and then I'm going to blend it in a little bit in towards the centre. Clean my brush a little bit. Now, just using a brush now, I'm just going to bring that paint down. So one colour is blending a little bit with the other colour, which I think gives it a nicer effect. Not going to worry too much about the centres. I'm actually going to put a centre in these flowers. They're not just going to be left like this, but I'll just do this colour first, and then I'm going to dry them off and show you. Actually, before they're dry, I'm going to show you one other way of apart from stenciling, one other option of actually quite easily getting a flower shape. So I'm just going to hold that up so you can hopefully see that I've blended a little bit of the orange into the yellow, and I think you get a nicer effect. You get sort of slightly darks and light colours of tones of paint, which is quite nice. Another thing you can do to get a simple flower shape is to obviously draw a flower and cut a little template out, and that's another. I'm just going to show you that quickly, and then you can, if you want to, draw around that to create some more flower shapes, which instead of using tracing paper, which is quite a good idea. So I won't actually put any more on here because I want to show you some other techniques on this same piece. So, but you get the idea. You can hold that on, just draw around that with a pencil, and you can overlap them and do as many different ones as you want to. That's quite a nice easy way of actually getting flower shapes. Or you could even cut a template of an individual petal and actually place it and put it on and draw around it. That would be another thing. So I'm just going to go and quickly dry these off, and then I'm going to show you doing something else on here. As well as obviously making centres for flowers, you can obviously make stencils of flower shapes that you could actually put on, and in exactly the same way you could sort of stipple and lift off. You can make some more complicated stencils if you want to. If you've got a cutting mat and a craft knife, you could actually cut this one was done quite carefully, as you can see, cut out. You can actually make just a thin card. You can actually do something like this, which I'm just going to show you. I'm going to place one of these on here. Just again, you could tape it down if you want to. I'm just going to go for it. I think colour shall I use? I should think I will use. I'm going to use some of the. I'll use some of the orange. It's orange. Right, so I'm just going to hold that down. I'm not going to do the edge bit. I'm just going to do this centre section here. So holding it firmly down, just going to stipple. Make sure your brush is nice and dry when you're doing this, otherwise you'll have a bit of a sloppy affected. It might seep under the edges. That is actually one thing you need to be a bit aware of when you're painting on fabric. Actually, if your brush is wet, the paint will start flowing and running a bit and spreading. So you do need to make sure it's quite fairly thickish and dry, your brush. Otherwise you'll be having problems. If the edges are a tiny bit raggedy, you can always touch them up afterwards. I'm just going to go around and do the centre with a different colour. So I'm just going to clean my brush a little bit. I'm going to use some turquoise in the centre. These obviously, these aren't realistic flowers, these are very stylised. Let's see what that's like. Good. There you go. So you can see you can sort of get some quite nice effects by doing something like that. The other thing, obviously, if you don't feel you can sort of do that, there are lots of stencils obviously available easily to buy, either in shops or online. I've got a set of ones that are a bit mandalas, but they actually, a lot of them resemble flowers, and I was just going to show you. I thought I might do another one, something like that here. These are just these reusable sort of laser cut ones, but just do another little one here. Again, I'm just going to use the center section rather than the whole thing. Quickly do that, and then I thought I could show you one other way of embellishing these further. Obviously you can do lots of stitching on these, but there's other ways you could actually put some other little bits embellishment on if you wanted to. Just going to try and do, oops. I was going to try and just do the centre bit, but I think I've actually made a bit of a blob, so I may have to expand this and make it a tiny bit bigger. I'll put a little bit of pink in the middle. Then I'm going to go with orange around the edge, I think. Now, hopefully, if you take this off, there, it's not too bad. There, you can see that's quite a nice effect, isn't it? So I'm just going to get these dried off, and I'm going to show you one other thing that you can do to further embellish these if you would like to, without stitching. Now, I've just added another stencil just there in the middle to finish the design off. I'm just going to try this. The other thing I thought you could try is actually painting on the edges of a bottle top and sort of printing with it, and also using a cotton bud. So we're just going to give that a go. I'm going to just use some black and some white paint, or anything that's got a strong contrast really. So just try painting the edge of this lid. I know this works on paper, but I haven't actually tried this on fabric, so let's just see if it comes out. Hopefully it will. And place it quite carefully. Where am I going to do that? On this one, yeah, I'll do it on here. Just press hard. Oh yes, that comes out okay, look, it's good. That was a bit of an experiment, so I wasn't quite sure. I won't do it on every single one, but that's an idea. You could try doing that. And I'm just going to get a cotton bud now and have a little play with a cotton bud. Right, just go paint. So I'll just use white again for this. And you can go around and see if you can just embellish a little bit further. You get the idea. So you can build up almost like pattern really, and you can make these flowers actually quite abstract, quite patterny. Don't have to be realistic at all. I'm now just going to show you some ideas, some other ideas for hand painting and getting designs. So just wanted to talk to you, well, actually about design ideas. I was going to just show you this one other idea, the idea of actually quite loose hand painting. And actually overlaying one thing over the other and letting the colours merge actually on there is actually quite nice. I think it's a really nice idea. Nice, very nice and loose, but you could actually embellish that with stitching really nicely. I'm going to talk to you about design ideas now. You can easily get them out of books, download them off the internet, or the other thing that's actually very good inspiration is adults colouring in books. They also have lots and lots of pages full of interesting patterns and ideas, and fabric designs, wallpaper designs, flower paintings in general. I'm just going to show you those as ideas. If you have got a bit of a theme or an idea in your head, before I sort of went ahead and painted this one, I just wanted to show you, I did a few little sketches of just variations on a theme, which I think also is a good idea. It's good to just have a page and do a few doodles and playing around before you go ahead and sort of create something. So hope that's given you some ideas, and I hope you have a bit of fun with it. I say if you don't feel confident with just hand painting, go ahead, use masks and stencils, printing with bottle lids or whatever you fancy really. That all works. You'd be surprised actually, some very, very simple designs look great once you start embellishing them, adding other bits, and then you can do your stitching on top. So I really look forward to seeing what you come up with, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.